Hey, everybody, and welcome in to another episode of Vox and Jed Fight About It, the only show on the internet with 2 hosts. Don't look that up. We're on episode 40 today, which is a great number. I love the 10s. The 10s are good round numbers. I kind of miss the idea of doing something for every 10th episode, but what can you do? It's just not feasible to come up with like a big special event.
I couldn't come up with enough,
it's just not an option.
Like, story episode was good, but otherwise, not
I
much.
come up with a bunch of stuff, but I always want to save it. I always want to save it for like, I want to save that for 25, or I want to save that for 50, or I want to save that for 75, and because they're all way too big. Yeah. They're way too big to lose on like 40, because you don't want to outshine 50. So it's its own little weird bracket. What I'm saying, Jed, is we're under a lot of pressure this episode. We are under a lot of pressure to perform, but not too much. 50's where the real pressure's at. But not too much pressure.
Right.
We need to do well.
Right. If we were to think there was too much pressure, then there would be issues.
We need to do well.
Perform as if this is 50.
Yeah, because we need to do well, but we don't need to perform at 50 levels. We need to perform at a clean 40. Better than usual, but 40. But 40. If that makes any sense. But 40.
Yeah, I like being good 40.
Anyway. What are you, a fucking alcoholic?
I think so. Yeah, I think I am. I need to get that checked on. But
you should anyway. Probably. I didn't know, man. Are you doing all right?
Not really. I've got several Jack Daniels bottles on here. But Chip Shrimp was our last guest.
Right, we had Chip Shrimp on last week. I think. Let me. I got a very short list of things to say about Chip Shrimp. Chip Shrimp was a great guest. I've never seen somebody with so much easy rapport with us. I don't know if our senses of humor just line up, or if Chip Shrimp is just kind of flowy like that. Like, charisma-wise, I don't know if that's just, something they're able to do, or if we just, found the third member of the show accidentally in a Minecraft SMP, I don't know, dog.
Someone who was able to, follow through on our bits,
Yeah, somebody was able to be, additive to them, even. So, not only were they able to comprehend what we were doing, they were yes-anding on top of that, and I fucking adore that. That's great. Mixie was doing a bit of that, too, to be fair. But Shrimp really got in the weeds with us.
I appreciate Shrimp was, fully willing to just continue the bit, no matter how long it was going to take, or how weird it turned. It was great.
No, just along for the ride. What a friend to have on the show. I genuinely thought we had already had them on. I think we talked about this during their episode, but I genuinely thought we had already had them on. Oh no, because you brought it up. And so they weren't even on my radar for people to have on the show anymore.
Yeah.
They were pretty much crossed off my mental list already, and they had just been waiting, apparently, which is super fun. Love having people on who have been interested in being on the show in the past. So that's always a good time. Anyway, what do you think? What, you got any thoughts? You got any opinions for this little guest review we're doing here?
Not really. Nothing more than what you've already said. We had a good rapport with them, and all I could say is thank you, Chip Shrimp. But thank you,
other than Chip Shrimp. But other than that, what other than that? What could this possibly be? Where are you going?
To say about Chip Shrimp? I'm not going anywhere. I'm just saying. Other than that,
you said other than that. You were about to transition. You're setting up a What is other than that if not a setup for a transition? That is a prepositional phrase, my man. Come on.
An end to a thought. Other than that, nothing really.
Other than that, it's not the end of a thought, unless you're having a stroke. In which case, it's the end of every thought. But
I don't think it counts. Strokes aren't that bad.
Yeah, you'd be a stroke victim.
But, I could. I odds are yes, but the polls are looking like yes.
The official fight about it take is stroke victims are all pussies. I could totally handle it. If I had a stroke, I would win.
I just meant brain, a stroke doesn't guarantee full brain death is all I'm saying.
No, it's just brain damage pretty much.
Yeah, brain damage.
Pretty much a given. I don't know, I've seen people get off pretty easy with that from a stroke. I have an uncle who had a stroke, and all he has is like a weird like lisp. I think he like actually passed a couple of years ago because of it, because of like he had some other complications too. But outwardly, you wouldn't know he had a stroke other than like his left eyebrow was a little wonky, and like he spoke a little funny, and that's it. You know?
Yeah. Strokes are generally
they're a crapshoot
sometimes. Yeah. They're kind of 50-50.
Yeah,
but you know. Oh man.
Speaking There's all sorts of like heat strokes and like our standard stroke.
Are heat the only strokes two kinds and regular strokes
actually
like comparable to each other? Like, because I thought a stroke was like lack of blood flow to a certain part of your brain.
Well, a heat stroke has to be a stroke. Is it like how like polecats aren't like actually cats or something? Or like koala bears aren't bears? Is it one of those things with heat strokes? I didn't know. I genuinely thought you just got so hot you had a stroke. I genuinely believe that's how it worked until just now.
No. Heat stroke is just when your body core temperature rises to more than 104, and stroke is when like a blood vessel bursts or is blocked. So they aren't the same, which is
they're not the same at all.
Bizarre that they're named.
Is stroke just a category of thing that like we don't know, like died inexplicably? Is that what stroke means to these people?
I don't.
Over in the scientific community, what are they? We need to have like a stroke doctor on, like somebody who does like PT for that or something. Doctor? Yeah, we need to have somebody stroke it on the show. I think. Yeah, we gotta have some strokers on the show. Do their thoughts, get their opinions on having a stroke and what that's like.
Yeah,
we're now the official stroke victim support group podcast. Love to make that announcement at episode 40.
I cannot find anything revolving around why it's called heat stroke.
No, not a thing.
I can't find anything. It's like heat stroke versus a regular stroke is just nothing. There's nothing saying anything about why it's called a heat stroke. It's just like your body is hot.
Well, let's stop speculating on it then. Yeah. I just realized we could be here for an hour on Googling what a heat stroke is. I need to jumpstart us out of here so fast right now.
Yeah.
We can't spend the first half. Like, if it were like the back half hour of the show, maybe we could get away with that when nobody watches that anyway. But like right at opening, I don't know, man. We're gonna scare some people.
We are gonna scare some people away talking about fucking heat stroke versus regular stroke. But
what's something we could talk about openly and freely with the audience that happened this week? Let's see. Let's see. Oh man. So I had the flu recently. We could talk about that, I guess.
Yeah, sure. You want to talk about your flu having?
Dude, being sick blows. Being sick absolutely sucks. I haven't had the flu in so long. I don't ever get my flu shot. That's like the only vaccine I skip. Because my thought process is just, whatever. Worst case, I get the flu and I just have to tough it out a few days. I got the flu this time and had to tough it out a few days. This is the first time in a few years that's happened to me. I genuinely, like, I just can't. During flu season, which is like the whole winter, by the way, I could just never find a good time to go get my flu shot. And the flu shot doesn't even cover every strain now, because now we've got like COVID, and I've got my COVID vaccines and shit, but like there are new strains and shit that could be. I don't know, man. But
well, the flu vaccine isn't even like protect you from the flu. It's protect you from the projected flu that will probably hit the US this time.
Like odds are it'll help, but I don't want to go pay like however much it is. I think they're like free in most cases even, but like they're only a couple bucks if anything. But if I just can't make the special trip to Walgreens to go and get my flu shot and then go about my business with like a solid, maybe that like 6-inch needle they just stuck in my arm was any good. Maybe. Maybe it did nothing though. You know? Because
it's hard to get by with like a maybe, especially on like shots and needles. It's just
I'm not an anti-vaxxer.
I don't fuck with them normally.
Yeah, I need to be clear. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'll absolutely get vaccinated. Getting vaccinated is its own thing. The flu shot, though, is is bullshit. Don't ever get it. Just have an immune system, dumbass.
I
No, get your
wouldn't
flu
necessarily
shots.
say that because a flu shot is good.
Because if everybody gets the
I've
flu
never gotten
shots,
one.
it'll cut down. Like that's the point. Everybody has to do it, and people like chumps like me don't do it, and it breaks the whole system. But
Yeah.
what can you do?
Yeah, I haven't ever gotten one because I never really get sick. I've got a very strong immune system as is. Like I've never had a sickness last more than 4 days. And I've never needed a flu vaccine. I've just gotten the flu and gotten over it in 3 days. Like that's generally how I work.
I don't take flu medicine or anything either. I try not to medicate for that kind of thing beyond like household stuff. Like, I got an ibuprofen. I'll take a couple of those for the headache, and that'll get me through. I'm so used to just getting head colds, honestly. Like I get a head cold like once every like 6 months, and that'll like not quite do me in. That'll have me feeling real bad in like the late evenings and early mornings when I'd be in bed anyway. But like once I'm out of bed and moving, I can get by just fine. I just gotta blow my nose every 5 fucking minutes. But I don't know. Generally, I'm not a very sick guy, and I hate being sick. Being sick is the absolute worst because I always want to get something done. That's the portion of time my brain kicks into gear and has all the great ideas and all the like wonderful little like bits of inspiration that I never write down, and then I lose them because like I'm in bed, dude. I can't do much about it, you know? Physically cannot do much about it right now. But otherwise,
I don't know. You want to know my secret to a high immune system?
What's your secret to a high immune system? Are you just licking every doorknob you see out there?
Hands.
Really?
I've never washed my hands. Yeah, no. I've like a thin film on my hands at all time.
You just got a crust
when
building?
I eat. Yeah. When I eat, it not only adds a bit of seasoning, it also strengthens my immune system. You know.
It's
great.
Gross. This is really
It is so gross. That is such a gross bit.
Like I cannot abide this bit with how disgusting it is. One of us is a fucking rat here, dude. One of us actively chooses to portray himself as a rat on the internet.
True.
And he's saying that this is disgusting. I need you to take a second and take that in for a minute.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
No, of course I'm joking. Like, wash your hands.
No, you're joking, of course. Wash your fucking hands. Again, don't get the flu. Wash your hands. Like, because again, stuff like that does almost as much as your flu shot. Like, just washing your hands and staying vigilant and keeping away from sick people. Like, that'll do you a lot already. Like, I maybe not as much as the flu shot, but like, you know, it's enough. It's enough for me. It's enough of a barrier for me. The guy who's like scared of buffets or whatever.
And the guy who like hasn't gotten a flu shot, but like, I don't know. I haven't gotten a flu shot either, so I don't have much.
I was saying it's enough for me. I'm saying that like I don't need the flu shot. My ability to just not have the flu and hope I don't get it is enough for me. You know.
Yeah. Out of I guess now I'm curious about the statistics. Every year, what is the likelihood of you getting the flu? Do you get the flu yearly practically?
No. God, no. I forget it's flu season most years. I like 1 in 4. It's about a 1 in 4. Just as often as the presidency. Just like, you know, every presidential term, I'll get the flu at least once. But no more than twice.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Oh man, I think it is crazy for the people who get the flu like yearly. Like it's just like, yeah, I've gotten the flu this year.
They just live like that for like a week and a half with like a fucked up throat and coughing and wheezing and sneezing and shit. I can't believe
2 of the 52 weeks for them are like they know for certain they're going to not only be sick, but sick for that entire time, like back to front, no break time in between, and it's like the worst sick you could get. Because it's the flu really fucking hits you.
Like every time I get the flu, I'm reminded because like I think about it and I go, people are still dying from the flu. That's ridiculous. And then I get the flu and I'm like, dude, I feel like I could keel over at any moment. No, I understand. I get it. Like if I was immunocompromised in any way, I'd be dead right now. But I get the man flu so bad though, no matter how sick I am. Like no matter what I'm sick with, I get like it hits me so hard every time. There's like a science to that. Did you know that? With like that, like
about
with like men are affected more when they're like physically ill or something than women traditionally.
It's bizarre too, because also traditionally, like men with physical pain have like higher pain tolerances, but I think that's
I think it's like a testosterone
I think that's
thing.
social.
Maybe. I don't know. Just doesn't higher testosterone count mean higher adrenaline count? Like higher like adrenaline necessarily? I don't know. I think there's some link there. We're doing some real armchair like hormonal science now. But like no, yeah, I've heard both of these things, and it's weird to me that that's a difference that we have. And I guess. But going back to what you were saying about people who get the flu every year, I had something to add on that while we were there of just man, not only is that 2 weeks out of every 365 days, that's 2 weeks every year forever. That's like a good portion of their life is spent with the flu right now, you know?
And they just have to live with that.
And they just have to live doing that forever. Like, there's so much. It's 2025. We live in the future. There's so much great shit right now. But, like, tech-wise, but, like, it's amazing the amount of shit. Like, it makes the holes more visible to me. Like, the gaps in what we can and can't do way more visible to me. Like, when a package goes missing, how? They check it in at every fucking station. How does it go missing? It came into the facility, went in to get sorted, and suddenly you lost it? No, it's being sorted, you stupid fuck. What are you talking about?
I don't know.
It's where you left it unless somebody walked out the building with it. You know?
Yeah. Of just somebody fucking stealing that shit. Which, by the way, Amazon package stealers are so... It's such a bizarre concept to me. Because, like, I know the shit
like, you don't know what's in there.
My mom orders on Amazon. You're gonna grab, like, a fucking Amazon box off a porch and then, like, run back to your car and open it up, and it's gonna be, like, vitamin B supplements. And it's like, what? What the fuck am I gonna do with, like, 3 bottles of vitamin B? I'm
sorry, is this a 12 case of V8? I thought this was gonna be a PS5, dude. Put this shit back. You know? I had something like that happen to me recently. I actually, like, I had a package coming in. I ordered, like, on a whim, I ordered one of those little, like, custom Minecraft figurines that's got, like, your, like, skin on it. And I was like, that's a fun little thing to own, put it on a shelf somewhere. I'll do that, you know? And I bought it, and I put it on a shelf somewhere. But before I could put it on a shelf somewhere, I had to wait for it to be shipped. And it ships into Memphis. And it gets lost immediately, just overnight, as soon as it gets to Memphis. Mm-hmm. And I've had this happen before, because I remember, like, my husband had to remind me. He was like, "You've told me this story before about a different package. What the fuck happened?" And I was like, no, it's here. It really is here. Like, it's really happening again. I had another package get lost in Memphis. Go losing, what the fuck?
Go losing.
But I had another one go missing. There we go, in Memphis a few years ago. That distribution center is just, like, if you go to the Google reviews for it, it's 1 star, and it's so bad. You can read the reviews of people like me who are like, yep, eventually got my package. It just got lost for, like, 6 months, but I did get it. And so, like, that happened to me, but I only lost it for, like, a week and a half, 2 weeks. I got off pretty easy, honestly. It just took an extra couple weeks to get to me arbitrarily, which I hate when that happens. I hate being given a shipping estimate and then that shipping estimate being wrong. I really hate it.
The worst.
Like, I'm the reason why they overestimate those in most cases, because I will call tomorrow. If I'm supposed to have something delivered on the 5th, they can expect a call from me on the 6th, most cases. Just because, like, I don't fucking care anymore, dude. You know, where's my shit? But for something this small, I was just like, let it ride. If I have to order another one, it's fine. It was like $20. And so, like, I got to live for a week and a half in a world where it was possible that somebody stole my package and just, like, had to live with a little figurine of the rat. They just had to live with that from now on, and I was just, like, wondering where he was. Probably. It's such, like, an oddball fucking Minecraft thing. Skin. It's such a weird fucking thing to own that I feel like I would have to, right?
I think I would try to do a deep dive to figure out who the fuck this is. Like,
well,
I feel
it's got,
like I
like,
would
my
be
username and shit, like, on the box, I think. So you can just straight up go to name MC. Hold on, I'm checking the box. I'm gonna find out.
Yeah.
I don't think it does, actually.
Huh.
But I had it somewhere. It was in the package somewhere when I opened it. I think it was on, like, a piece of paper. So you totally would have the username with it. It would come on the receipt.
But
and so you could.
Speaking of shipping estimates,
Speaking of shipping estimates, that shit does suck.
Because like yesterday, I was like waiting for a package. It was my mom had ordered a keyboard piano.
Mm-hmm.
And that's inexpensive enough item that it's like, yeah, I don't want that sitting on my porch. So they were like, yep, it'll be there at 3 p.m. And I was like, okay, that's great. We'll record the show at, a certain time. And that didn't end up happening due to other circumstances. But like, I ended up having to tell Vox, like, yeah, hold on, I'll be an extra 5 minutes because the Amazon driver, I'm watching them outside of my door, like playing on their fucking phone. I'm watching them sit in the truck playing on their phone.
I think I would go outside. I think I would go outside. You're sitting in my driveway on your phone, sir. Please just deliver my fucking package so we can call this done. Like, you're welcome to get back to Angry Birds or whatever. Like, you're welcome to get back to Angry Birds or whatever in literally 1 minute. I just need to get my fucking package and get you out of my driveway, dude. That's all I need from you right now. I don't know. I always hate that. I always fucking hate that. I don't know why they give you a time. It's never right. It's never accurate to when they show up. It's accurate to, like, I find that, like, I don't even look at those. It's always just like I know about when the FedEx truck will be coming, so I'll just sit by the door for a few hours and just like be on my phone or something. Like, when I've got the free time, I'll let them know. I've never had them like leave a package on me before, like as in like leave with it and go, you weren't here to sign for this, But like everything I've ever had to like sign for, they've been there for. Well, because I'm always there. I'm always fucking waiting by the door, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like every time. I've never given them the opportunity to, but it's never happened organically, so I've got no reason to believe it would, but it totally would is the thing. And so I just And so what are you to do but fucking sit around all day and you've got a package coming. It's like the ADHD paralysis thing, but completely warranted. It's fucking crazy, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, because you actually have to get up and do something. So it's like, I don't want to get into a game because in 3 goddamn seconds, I'm going to get a knock on my door and I'm not going to
hear the knock because I'm wearing my fucking headphones.
Yeah.
Playing a game.
Yeah. It's the worst. It is genuinely the worst. I hate package delivery and like Amazon. I know you don't have like Amazon trucks in your area, but the Amazon trucks almost make it worse because Amazon trucks do not have like a schedule that they go out on. It's just like vaguely, if you happen to be, say, the like 300th person in your route and the other 300 people didn't order anything, then you're the first one. So you get your package at like 9 a.m. But then for everybody else, if the other 299 people before you in your route did order something, then you're going to be getting it at fucking 8 p.m. And there's no way to find out, like, there's no way to gauge where you're going to be on that list. It's terrible. I hate it. And they just give you like a vague estimate.
There's enough mail going around that it's fairly consistent here. Like, usually the same suspects are ordering the same amount of stuff often enough that, like, whatever UPS, FedEx, USPS, they'll be here on time, roundabouts, with, like, at worst, an hour's difference. Now, FedEx actually is the bad one because we get those, we're, like, on the back half of that route, so we do get a little bit of that, like, they're supposed to be here at 6. Why are they here at 8:50? When 9 is the cutoff. Jesus Christ. But, like, I always pass that up as, like, dude's just having a day. Clearly. I'm just gonna let him have this. It's like, nobody's doing their job poorly for no reason. But especially nobody's doing, like, the last part of their job on a late shift already running behind. Like, nobody... I mean, if I were a mail carrier, I wouldn't just intentionally fuck around and run behind for the day for no fucking reason. So I always just assume they have a good reason for that. There was some backup somewhere that I don't get to see. Doesn't make it any less frustrating, though, when you're just sitting there all day waiting on a package to come in. And then it comes in at, like, the last possible minute. It's like, great, if I'd have known, I would have, like, done a billion other things today.
Yeah. Yeah, I would have been able to actually get things done today, but no, now I'm fucking sitting around. And it's never the driver's
Most of our
fault.
deliveries happen in the morning, so it's easy enough just to, like, it'll be here in the morning. I'm gonna go pass out tonight, and I'll wake up, and it'll be on my doorstep. No waiting for anybody. Bing, bang, boom. And that's always fun.
I love when that happens. Like, I love the overnight. We have, like, an overnight one where it's, like, it'll get there between 4:30 a.m. and 6 a.m.,
We're gonna have that soon, and I'm gonna love the fuck
yeah.
out of it, dude. Do you know how much shit
It's
I'm gonna
great
order on
for some
Amazon
items.
overnight? Do you know how many?
Only some items do it.
Well, yeah, only some items do it, but like that's what I'm saying is like being able to like. There's so much shit. There's so much stupid garbage that the only thing that kept me from ordering it was it'll take 5 days to get here. That's enough time for me to regret buying it before it even gets here.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
Like I'll buy. That's why I'm like the worst in stores. Is because I'll buy a shitty little trinket if I want it and it's cheap enough, and like I just won't care. You know?
Mm-hmm.
That's just the stage I'm at.
Like, I hate going into grocery stores. I hate walking through grocery stores, and I think I'm gonna either have to get used to it or like just like pawn you guys for groceries because I don't know what like. I never like going into stores because I always end up buying stupid shit that I don't need. I prefer to just order it online where I'm like,
you're doing grocery shopping wrong,
Milk.
man. I got you. I got you. Here's what you do. You eat a big meal, like right before. You go to like a restaurant. You sit down and you have a meal. And then you're food shopping on a full stomach. Then you run into the opposite issue of like, I don't really like feel like eating this right now, and thus I do not want to buy it for this week's groceries. And that works as far as cutting out shit like, oh shit, they've got like 50 bags of Dippin' Dots. I'll take those, you know, in place of like actual food. You know, it means you get more substantial and you get it for a lot cheaper than you do like shopping on an empty stomach. Never grocery shop on an empty stomach. You or our viewers at home, a little tidbit for you. Because that shit will be the death of you. Especially today, with how much groceries are. No.
Groceries are insane right now. But
it's way cheaper just to fork over the $20 for McDonald's or something. You got off on a tangent in your own head while I was talking? Okay, what's
Can you
this
just
tangent?
buy
Run us
Dippin'
through
Dots?
No, I don't think so.
Dippin' Dots are always just like a machine.
Maybe
in
at like
the
a
mall,
wholesaler.
and like it's never full. I'm sure you could at like a wholesaler, but like I don't know. I rarely see Dippin' Dots anymore, except for like this like claw machine that has not been refilled in years.
Dippin' Dots are for like mall kiosks and fucking amusement parks and shit. That's what Dippin' Dots are for. They're not like an at home enjoy it anytime kind of snack, I don't think. Not because of like the taste or anything. Just vibes wise, I can't abide it. It's like eating fucking like circus peanuts at your desk. It's like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? Like, those are a circus food. What the fuck are you doing eating them for real right now?
Is there anybody who does like is like fucking Dippin' Dots is my shit, dude? Is anybody like full sale for Dippin' Dots? Because
who do you think's more unhinged?
Every time I've had them, I've gone, these are fine. And that's it. Like,
who do you think would be more unhinged? The Dippin' Dots are my snack guy, or the circus peanuts are my snack of choice? Because you know what circus peanuts are, right? The Dippin' Dots
those
guy?
like marshmallow.
Those little orange, like marshmallowy ones.
Because you can get circus peanuts at like a gas station.
Oh,
and,
he's
like,
more
at
unhinged.
the grocery store.
He's more unhinged because he has to go like way out of his way to like a wholesaler to get it. I see. He's got to go like order it by the truckload.
Or, like, this motherfucker goes into the mall every day and buys Dippin' Dots, sort of thing. Like, that's the only two options for that.
I guess.
So of course he's more unhinged.
You got a point. He's way more unhinged.
I don't think you can even buy them from a wholesaler because all they are is you just drip a drip of cream into like a tank of what is that? Liquid nitrogen. It just instantly freezes and turns into Dippin' Dots. That's how you make them. That's why they're like a kiosk
but like
thing,
that's what I'm saying. You could get a machine at home. Like you could like get a machine and like the cream and shit and do it at home if you wanted. I'm sure they make a home style Dippin' Dots machine. I'm sure that's like a thing. You know, like, you'd have to be like, I'm sorry, you'd have to be like the biggest schlob in the world to own a Dippin' Dots machine, right?
I don't think so because like. Yeah, it's not like you would have the whole Dippin' Dots cart. It would literally just be like a tank of liquid nitrogen on your like counter. Like you walk into somebody's home and they've got like a 5-gallon bucket of liquid nitrogen
heard it here
with
first,
like little
folks.
flakes.
If you already have the equipment to do whippets, you probably have the equipment to make Dippin' Dots at home.
What? Liquid nitrogen isn't like How do you
Dude.
even buy liquid nitrogen?
People, you wouldn't understand. People do that with liquid nitrogen. That's a real thing.
Really?
People are
do
doing
liquid
whippets off
nitrogen
fucking
whippets?
liquid nitrogen. It's weird. It's the weirdest fucking thing.
Oh my
It's
God.
like bug chasers. Those guys who want to get like every disease or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like those guys. I swear it has to be. Like, I've heard of people doing that, and I've always gone, there's no way people are fucking doing that. And then I hear about it again, and I go, oh, okay, people are doing that. And let me be clear, these are different to normal whippets, of course. But, like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, people are doing that, and it's the
People
weirdest
are
thing in the
doing that.
world. Like, that's just,
But yeah.
I can't, oh my God. Either way, though, Dippin'
People will
Dots.
do fucking any drugs. We were
People will
talking
put
about it the other
anything
day
in their
in
bodies
the
at
Vietnam
least
War.
once.
So C4 is like,
we're
it's just
talking
a
about
piece of
this.
plastic that is like, you can detonate it with a fuse, but otherwise it's a very stable thing. You can burn it and use it as a fire. Like, it won't explode. You can also chew it like bubblegum. And people would in the Vietnam War, because these are 19-year-olds getting drafted to war, and they would get extremely high off of the fucking C4 chemicals.
These guys
and
were sticking gum under desks a year ago, yeah.
Yeah, like you see pink substance that like is squishy. Yeah, you would have some sort of thought of like, what if I chewed this like fucking bubblegum? That'd be pretty funny.
Dude, you know what? Chewing on C4, like, explaining that they're 19-year-olds and that's why chewing on C4 makes sense, made me realize all those menaces, all those fucking people who bit the foam footballs are real, and they're adults now, and they are out there in the world with us, and we have to respect them like equals,
They're
dude.
biting the real footballs.
They're fighting real footballs now! There's like a bite mark taken out of like an actual like air bladdered football, and they're like, how the hell did this happen? Jesus Christ!
Like the rest of it's still inflated, but there's just a very clear.
Well, yeah,
bite
it's still
mark
blown
out
up.
of it.
There's just like a cartoon bite taken out of it, like it's a solid object. That's so funny. Have you seen those airless basketballs? Those like 3D printed ones?
Oh yeah. Those like they look like a reef, like a coral reef.
Yeah, they're made of like
crazy.
a netting in there. Yeah, it's crazy to look at. Yeah, but like the thing
wish
about it was,
those
I
things
love
would
the
actually
early
take hold.
stages. I love the early stages because I had this guy on TikTok who was like exploring it for himself and trying to figure out how they work. And he was like, I want to see if I can make one at home on my 3D printer. Since they are just like big plastic webs, I could probably like model one and print it. And then he spent like 3 to 5 weeks just posting almost every day, like, oh, I've made a new one and I've changed the design a little bit. Let's see if this works. And then he'll go to bounce it on the concrete and it'll just shatter. And then he would go,
and
well,
then he
not
just
this
has to
one.
Try a new one.
And then he tried a new one, and then he kept trying new ones until they didn't shatter, until the anticlimax of the video was it just hitting the ground and not shattering, and then that was really funny, because I kept expecting it to shatter, and it would just like, doop, onto the ground, and then it started bouncing, and I had already built this like 3-stage bit in my head of this guy, and so by the time he started getting it to bounce, watching it bounce was like a subversion of the bit on its own, you know? And so it was a really funny like process to watch unintentionally of a guy just trying to make a basketball with no air in it, which isn't even the case. It's still got air in it, it's just not pressurized.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish things like that would catch on. There are so many things
Yeah, we need
that
more
are like, this is
plastic
the
goods
future.
in the world.
Yeah. But people are like, this is the future. This is what basketballs will look like in the NBA in 10 years. And it's like, okay, thank you, 2011 YouTube video. Let's check today. And it never catches on because the players are always like, dude, give me the normal basketball back. I want to play basketball.
Yeah, the only sport they're making those kinds
know.
of changes in are like, because if it ain't broke, don't fix it. The only sport they're making those kinds of changes in is like football, but that's because it is broke and they're trying to figure out how to not give their like star players concussions at 10, you know?
Yeah.
Like, make sure that
Really,
like your first concussion is not at like 12 during like a fucking Little League game or some shit, you know?
Yeah,
or not a Little
baby's
League game,
first
but like,
concussion.
what's Little League for football? What's
flag football?
Well, not flag football, because like I'd say flag football is more t-ball-esque. Like it's the like training wheels equivalent to football, you know? And I don't know. Either way, I digress. But like they're coming out with these new helmets, and I actually quite like hearing about this kind of stuff, just because like it's good. It's good that they care about the concussions. It's good that we've pivoted back away from like we need to stop beating our wives to we need to stop these players from having concussions so they'll stop beating their wives.
Yeah. Oh man, that's fucked up. That's fucked up.
That's a real problem. I'm not joking. That's a real problem the NFL has, is that players and like their athletes won't stop beating their fucking wives, dude. And their kids too in some cases. It's ridiculous. Oh my god.
That shit is insane.
But
I blame it on who's that guy who kisses his kids on the lips? That guy's the most
Tom Brady?
Tom Brady, yeah.
Tom Brady does kiss his son on the lips, and I mean, I guess it's better than beating him, but like only kinda, I think. You know what that does to a kid, socialization-wise, kissing him on the mouth at like 12, 13? I don't even mean just because it's like his dad. It's not like a homophobia thing as much as just like it's not a homophobia thing at all, to be clear, but it's not a homophobia thing. Even if like his mom was kissing him on the mouth, it would be weird, I think. Like, I think that's like just as weird. Yeah. He's like 9, isn't he? He's too old for that. He's still old enough that you should still be kissing your son on like the forehead, but like on the mouth, dude. More importantly, kids are gross as fuck. If you hung out with a 10-year-old for long enough, you would never want to kiss one on the mouth under any condition.
Oh yeah.
Like no way. Yeah. I wouldn't even let a 10-year-old drink after me, dude, even if he was my own son.
Yeah.
What are you saying over there?
I don't know. No, but like they're just putting anything in their goddamn mouth. They're just like fucking eating shit for no reason. Why do kids do that? What instinct do we have that like out the womb eat that thing?
Get it. Consume it. Yeah, dude. Yeah.
It's funny because maybe babies are like, is this poison-ometer? Because you could just make a new one.
And then send them in. Up. You're fucking making babies to like see if things are poisoned.
Yeah, well, give them some berries that you think
those berries are no good.
No.
Give it 9 months. We'll know if the ones next to it are. Hopefully, we don't starve before. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. Oh shit, Jimmy lived. Hell yeah. Let's eat those berries.
Let's go get those berries. Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck hunting all this boar bullshit.
I want to eat the fucking berries now.
I'm just trying to eat the berries.
I like that idea.
What idea?
I like that
fucking
idea about
baby poisoning?
Cavemen. No, about cavemen just like, fuck it, who gives a shit? Like, we're just like eating this because we're tired of hunting fucking boars. Like, we're sick of it. I think it's a funny concept. Because, like, we never evolved out of hunting for a long time, and arguably we still haven't. We've just evolved hunting. But, like, it's funny that at some point we were like, fuck it, grab those berries.
Yeah,
like, grab things that the things we're hunting are eating.
We did evolve past hunting. We, like, domesticate animals now, Jed. We got, like, farms and shit. I don't know if you've seen them.
Well, yeah, no, I just meant, like, arguably, you could argue that farms are just, like, long-form hunting. But,
not
you know.
Really? I mean, if we were to, like, wait until the move when we were in person and, like, for the first time, for like, an extended period for the first time anyway, beyond, like, 2-3 days, you know? Yeah. And I took that opportunity to, like, lure you into a false sense of safety and then killed and ate you. I don't know if I'd call that hunting. I'm not sure I'd count what I've been doing with you the last, like, 3-4 years hunting, you know?
That's true.
Or
I would just say that, like, I would say animal husbandry is the evolution of hunting, though.
Oh, yeah, but that means we've evolved out of it if we have an evolution to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that's fair enough. That's fair enough.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just can't get behind, like, normally I don't do semantics like this, but, like, I don't know. I just can't get behind, like, considering, like, agriculture or hunting, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. I wasn't, like, this isn't my
No, I just don't think you thought about it that far, really.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just saying shit.
It's worth bringing out to talk about it, but oh my god. Man. We are 40 minutes into the episode, and we were talking about how I have the flu. That's the only topic we've gotten through so far. out of our entire
Wow.
thing is I've had the flu recently. Oh,
Well, we were talking
man.
about animal husbandry and Dippin' Dots and shit, so that's great. But
Yeah.
well, in less great news, did you watch the Oscars this year?
I didn't. I couldn't be fucked. It was on a Sunday night and we were
Yeah.
hanging out. And honestly, I forgot the
Yeah.
Oscars were that night, and I just caught it in TikTok clips after, honestly. And then checked online to see who won the awards I cared about.
But Adrian Brody, that guy who was in The Brutalist that came out this year or last year or whatever, apparently couldn't fucking do the accent for his character, so he just had them do an AI voice for him on there. And then he won an Oscar for it. And that's some fucking horse shit. Like, that should be against the rules of the Oscars, right? Ideally.
I would want it to be. I would want that to be at the bare minimum. I feel like that's pretty clean cut. I feel like people are gonna do a lot of gymnastics and a lot of like jumping through hoops on just like, well, I don't know, Michael Caine, not Michael Caine. Who was the little Oompa Loompa guy in the new Willy Wonka?
Oh.
Who was that? Fuck.
I don't know.
Him.
He didn't like doing it though.
He didn't like doing it. He said he didn't like doing it. He said he didn't even do the mocap. He just recorded the lines and then they did face capture on him. And that's all they got. And they had another guy body double. And then, of course, they like tracked all of that information onto like a scale model of like a 3D model of a character and then touched up the performance even more after that. So at what point is the actor not responsible for the acting? I feel like that's what people are going to jump to with this. But this is not that. Make no fucking mistake about it. Like, it is way more clean cut than it seems. A machine did the work of the actor because the actor could not.
Yeah.
That is the end all be all to this story. It's not we used CG to enhance him to make him look more like the character. Or we used, motion capture because that's the best way, to get a 3D character, to get a live action performance on a 3D character, even if it was done by a different guy, Like, that's okay. That's what puppetry is, and it's still, it's still a thing. But, like, that's not this. This is explicitly I couldn't do my fucking job and a machine had to do it for me.
Yeah.
And that is shameful.
Like, that's the actor's job, is to do accents. Like,
yeah, you should, well, not to do
accents
specifically, but if he can't do the accent, then fire him and hire somebody who can, is the answer.
Yeah.
Or don't have the character have an accent. That's an option too.
Yeah, fuck
if
it.
you really like Adrian Brody that much.
Adrian Brody? Yeah.
Because if you AI the accent on, you are not getting Adrian Brody. You are getting Adrian Brody filtered through a shitball AI that puts an accent on his voice poorly.
Yeah.
When, like, I don't know, it makes me fume to see somebody like Adrian Brody win an award for doing something like that, knowing, like, what some actors will do for their roles in terms of that stuff. Like,
oh yeah,
like that old story about Tom Hanks in Forrest Gump learning how like that child spoke and like going out of his way to do that, and then that being like the iconic sticking point of the movie is the way that he speaks, that vocal pattern becoming so iconic. And then there's stuff like another example is escaping me actually, but there are a lot of cases like that where actors will go well out of their way on researching a role or well out of their way to perfect like a character voice or a character mannerism. And it's just, what I'm hearing is Adrian Brody couldn't be fucked to go see a vocal coach for like a week and a half, 2 weeks to learn to do a shitty accent. Like at bare minimum. He couldn't do the bare minimum asked of him to do his job. Either that or they wanted to do this over that. Either that or the company decided and Adrian Brody had no choice. But he still agreed to do it. So
he still agreed to do it. If I was an actor and they were like, yeah, we don't want you to bother trying with the accent, just act normally and then we'll just put it in there, I would be like, all right, fuck you, I'm not doing this then. Get somebody else to do it. Like,
I don't know, they got Conan to host. They got Conan to host. They referenced a bunch of like pop culture stuff that like is a little more common than the Oscars usually go with their like pop culture references. But overall, I feel like that award in particular is another shining example of the fact that the Academy does not speak for the people. The Academy at the Oscars does not speak for the people, and the Oscars as an institution has become so far separated as an award ceremony from what the actual people and what the actual critics believe are good films of the year and what the Academy will allow to win. There's just become too much politics in earning an Oscar. You should get an Oscar because you did insanely well in the film that you worked on, no matter what you got an Oscar for. That should be why. It shouldn't be because you were one of the only, 10 movies that, the Academy had seen this year. You know?
Yeah, that's the horseshit, too, is that, they took it from, you could see the other actors who were nominated for that award as he was doing his speech, and they all just kind of looked with genuinely some serious disappointment in their eyes because their entire job just got undermined by the fact that somebody won an award for doing a bad job at acting.
No, that's seriously bleak. I completely understand the looks on faces in that clip because it's I feel the same way about just is this just what we're allowing to happen? Because that's the signal they're sending.
This is where we're at.
That's the signal they're sending as the Academy that this kind of thing can be allowed to happen. And thus,
that this is an okay thing.
Because this is okay, this is normal, this is allowed. And I feel like that's messaging that I can't get behind. And I just I had very little respect for the Oscars before now because I feel like it's just a very artsy circle jerk when it comes to things like Best Picture. Best Animated Film always gets fucked up really bad. This year I think they did okay. Yeah. But it usually just goes to whatever thing Pixar or DreamWorks put out this year. Whatever I saw it with my kid and enjoyed it. You know? My 7-year-old had fun, so this is the movie I choose, or my kid barfed during this movie in the theaters, therefore this one does not get to win in my book. And so that's the kind of logic that the Academy is working with when it comes to animated films, I feel. I don't know, I just have a lot of I have a lot of feelings about the Oscars because they're very pretentious and they're treated like the upper echelon of Hollywood and entertainment in general and what it means to be in movies when they don't embody that spirit. They don't move that culture forward at all either.
Yeah.
And they sure as shit do not honor anybody other than their classics of classics and occasionally whoever they've chosen from whatever art house film this year to win fucking Best Actor, Yeah,
I genuinely believe that the only reason that Adrian Brody won it was because they just wanted Adrian Brody to win. They just liked Adrian Brody enough that they were just yeah, fuck it. Because I don't think that anybody could look at him and say that you did the best performance. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I haven't seen The Brutalist, but
I hear good things about
just
The Brutalist.
From the fact.
I didn't know about the AI stuff till now, but it was something that was on my list before I knew about that. And now that I know, I don't want to watch it really anymore. But I don't know. A hell of a lot of good movies came out over the last 365 days, and it just feels like a damn shame and a spit in the face to a lot of them who have them not even nominated.
Absolutely, yeah.
But
it
things worked
between
out.
Between that this year and Game of the Year having a DLC, I'm really getting sick of these sorts of shit.
Award ceremonies in general have just become deeply sickening to me at a certain point. Just because it feels like whichever industry you're currently with, just having a little circle jerk on the corporate side of things, where the people get very little input. With the rare exception of the Game Awards, actually. I consider the Game Awards to be pretty special because they're one of the few that have a gamer, a player's choice thing. Not only do they have the player's choice category, players get to vote. People who played these games and loved them get to sit down and go, yes, this is where I rank these for this category.
Yeah.
And I feel like that at least skews it in the direction of the populace a little bit. Like, it's a little more for the people for that, I feel, which is, pretty solid. But it still suffers from, like, award show trappings like that. It still suffers. And that's okay. They always will.
That's okay.
It'll never change.
I do think that the Game Award... The Game Awards, because what's that game called? The robot game from PlayStation that won this year.
Astrobot? The one that won Game of the Year?
Astrobot.
Yeah, I think because
of
really
Astrobot, I'm more interested in the Game Awards now. But like they'll never live down putting in a fucking DLC though.
No. Not in a million years, dude. I swear.
Yeah.
But that's speaking of awards. Speaking of awards, though, let's get to a less bleak topic. The National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York, has announced the Video Game Hall of Fame finalists this year.
Ooh. Okay.
As to like which classic game is about to be indoctrinated into the Video Game Hall of Fame. And our options are Age of Empires, the original, Angry Birds, the first one. Which I mean, I guess I could argue it's a classic. Do we want to talk about Angry Birds as a franchise a little bit while we're right here?
I think
just stop and talk for a sec.
Actually could be fine in there, because it was like, I think Angry Birds was part of the mobile game trend before it
helped
became,
define
like,
what a mobile
game
could be. Yeah, and then of course, like the mobile game, mobile game design like rubric eventually like ate itself and became all advertisements all the way down. But like, back before like mobile games were just like a sea of pay us 99 cents or we're gonna show you the worst schlock in the world for 20 minutes before you're allowed to play anything. Like there were games like Angry Birds, and Angry Birds really like was like the shining star of like what a mobile game could be for a while there in like the early 2010s.
I don't know. I think honestly, it deserves it. I think it would be fine in that spot. Like, I think that Angry Birds is a funny pick, but I don't think it's a bad pick necessarily, Yeah.
Next up, Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, the original. I think that's a pretty good pick.
I think that's a pretty good pick, yeah.
I think classic 360 Modern Warfare, I think that's a pretty good pick. I think that's a pretty solid pick for, like, one of the games to be, like, immortalized forever as, like, a signal of video gaming of its time. Because Modern Warfare, again, was, like, Call of Duty in general was everywhere, but, like, Modern Warfare especially is the one that, like, everybody had. Like, everybody had a copy of Modern Warfare, and everybody loved it. Yeah. Like, maybe it's not everybody's favorite, though, is the thing, but, like, everybody played it.
Like, I still like COD 2 more, but, like, Black Ops 2 more, but,
Yeah.
I think that's a pretty good pick. I think that's better than Angry Birds, but I could still see why Angry Birds could win it.
Yeah. Next up is Defender, the arcade game.
Defender? I've never heard of that. Let me look that up while we talk about it.
Defender? Here, let me pull up Defender for the viewers at home. It's like a Gradius style sort of dig here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never played this before.
Little shoot 'em up thing. Yeah. No.
Have you played it? Is it good?
I mean, it's an arcade game. They're all about all right. They're all a pretty good time to me, but like nothing to write home about in the modern day. But it was a classic. Yeah. So, I could see it. Frogger.
I could see it. Frogger, that's a good one.
I'm shocked that's not in there. Yeah, I'm shocked that's not already in there. Put the frog in.
Put the frog in for free. Let Angry Birds or like Modern Warfare also be there, but put the frog in. Why hasn't the frog been there yet?
Give the frog his flowers. Come on, he's earned them.
Yeah,
but like I feel like Frogger's a pretty good pick. GoldenEye 007 for the N64. I mean, pretty much helped define multiplayer shooters and helped like ring out that era, like the end of that like arcade style shooter era of like, I'm just gonna get in a match and I'm gonna shoot at my friends and it's gonna be fun, until like COD and Halo took it and like evolved it further from there, like even further from there into more like branching paths. I feel like it's a very integral game to what like fucking around in a multiplayer shooter with your friends is. Like, I think it's pretty integral to what that became as a concept. It's definitely a really good example of that. And I think without it, we miss out on a lot of that, like Halo split screen and like, you know, Call of Duty and shit like that. I feel like you don't get a lot of that without GoldenEye, you know?
Yeah.
I still think we get COD,
for sure.
But like, you know, I don't think the multiplayer is quite the same, you know?
I think GoldenEye was a very like serious definer for, you know, the Xbox 360 era multiplayer shooter that happened.
Yeah. It even had a twin stick mode. If you plug 2 controllers in, you could play with like 2 sticks like that. It's such a silly way to play. I once saw somebody like fuse 2 controllers together to make a GoldenEye controller for that, and that's such a stupid thing to do in my opinion. But
I miss when consoles would do some stupid bullshit like that. But yeah,
like you plug a second controller in during the single player, and you can have a second stick going. Yeah, like that shit's cool.
Like, yeah, here, plug in this other chip on the front of your console. Guess what? You have more RAM now, so you could play Donkey Kong.
Yeah, Donkey Kong.
I don't know. I miss stupid bullshit like that.
Yeah, Golden Tee is the next one. I don't know what the Golden Tee is.
What? TEA
like
or
T? Like T-shirt. Like Golden Tee. Oh, it's golf.
Golden Tee. Oh,
it's a golf game. There are a lot of sports games here. I've seen this in arcades.
I've played this before. It's I
mean, you gotta think sports games weren't much. So, you know, what can you do? But moving on from Golden Tee, I don't think either of us really have anything to say about fucking Golden Tee.
I don't think it should get like into the Hall of Fame. Like, this is the shit that's in the back of the bar that nobody's played in like years.
Yeah, I don't know that Golden Tee has earned its place in the annals of gaming history necessarily. But Harvest Moon, however, Moon is a pretty good pick because that's without that you miss out on this like big cozy farming push. You miss out on Animal Crossing, I think, because like that was like loosely inspired. Like Harvest Moon is listed as one of the inspirations for that. And then like on top of that, you miss out on Stardew Valley. You miss out on like if you have a cozy farming game or an idle game. That's why
you just miss out on that.
Yeah, so I think for what it's done for that genre of sort of farming RPGs, I think that Harvest Moon could earn its place. Like, I think Harvest Moon's an odd pick out of this set. I think there are more iconic games here, but this
I don't think it's a terrible pick.
Franchise like also kind of built a genre, and so like it's not a terrible pick. It's definitely something that if it were up against weaker contenders, I would say go for it.
I'm feeling that for like most of these.
Mattel Football.
I'm not feeling it for this one.
We're at another like, oh my god, is this? No, surely they don't mean this fucking Tiger Electronics game I just found when I tried to Google that.
Oh, surely not.
Surely they're not trying to add a Tiger That's all it has to be. That's all that's here.
No way.
Oh my Christ. Jesus Christ. Yeah, here's the page on the museum. Jesus. Wow. Okay.
All right.
Well, Mattel Football. Quake. I think Quake's pretty good. Without Quake, you don't get Half-Life. Without Half-Life, you basically don't get story in video in first-person shooters the same way that we have it.
Yeah.
Hope you like cutscenes, because that's all you're getting forever without Half-Life existing. And also Quake did a lot for... Quake was just like the next natural step forward. It didn't do as much as Doom did, but like it iterated upon what Doom had like built very well, I think.
Yeah. Funny thing about Doom is that like you would think that Wolfenstein came after Doom. No, Wolfenstein was first. It just sucked so much ass that everybody forgot about Wolfenstein when Doom came out.
Yeah, like Wolfenstein did a lot of Doom stuff, but like Wolfenstein is missing a lot of stuff that's even in the first Doom game. That's like a big push forward. It did a lot of it first. I feel like their Wolfenstein 3D walked so that Doom could run really in that case.
Yeah,
like, I feel like it's a lot of like, all right, we made this cool thing that like is really innovative. Let's go and iterate on it and make it good, you know? And then put it out again. Sorry to all the Wolfenstein 3D fans. I'm sure that like once you blink a couple times and get the fucking blue seared from your fucking monitor, I'm sure you'll be typing a hate comment.
I'm sure you'll be having a time.
I'm sure you'll be right on top of me as soon as you can turn a 45-degree angle in less than 50 seconds.
Yeah.
But the last two are a weird couple. So NBA 2K, the original. It's like, okay, that's like a 20, 25 year
first
franchise.
Sports game that was pretty okay on this list.
Yeah. Like that's fine, sure. And then I object to a sports game personally, but like,
yeah,
you know, if
there were to be one, I think NBA 2K is fine.
Yeah, it's a fine pick for a sports game. I'd be a little upset if it won over a lot of these other options. Speaking of, we're counting Tamagotchi. That's our last pick. Tamagotchi. That's a video game thing? By the estimate that they get. Yes, the little like keychain, little virtual pet things. Yeah.
All right.
The original like Tamagotchi Tamagotchi keychains. Those are counted on this list, and they are a finalist.
Well, I certainly know what I don't think should win out of these options that I've been given.
And I think that's why it's here, honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like an easy knockout pick, because like there just wasn't anything else good.
Yeah. I don't know. I think there are some real serious like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? In this list, but I think overall most of these I would be okay with. I think Frogger, Modern Warfare, GoldenEye, Quake. I'm surprised that a lot of these ones that I'm listing from this modern list are not already in the Museum of like video game history. But
yeah, as like Hall of Famers, I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue why there aren't as many of those. But
Mattel,
I figured
football.
That would fit. King Mattel football. Yeah, I can't believe I just figured it would be good to get out of Oscars, but stay in awards land for just a moment longer.
No, that was a good move. That was a good schmove away from it.
Yeah. All right.
You got something you want to win of that list though?
Not in particular. I'm like you, where it's like I've got a hierarchy. I feel like you give it to Angry Birds, you give it to Frogger, you give it to GoldenEye.
Yeah.
Angry Birds, Frogger, GoldenEye, COD 4, mostly those four, actually. If you give it to one of those four, I'm cool. I don't really care. And if the rest win,
Quake. I would also add Quake.
I wouldn't mind. And Quake. Quake's a good fiver. I forgot about Quake just that fast. That's a good round 5, and that's like just under half, because there's 12 of them. So like just under half. I feel like, you know, I feel like there are some here that are just here because they need 12 finalists, you know?
Yeah, like I certainly think that Mattel football was not there like, yes, this is the game that should be there. Like nobody was
one, of course, the greatest of all time
for Mattel football.
Yeah, nobody's cheerleading that hard for Mattel football on the fucking Tiger Electronics game, you know? Yeah. Nobody's pushing that hard for that. But moving on from our little award show debacle we're having here. Windows has too many fucking text input boxes. Can I talk about this?
Sure.
Has this happened to you where like I'm gonna Google something real quick and you look away while you're typing and then you look back when you're done typing and why the fuck am I typing in the Windows search bar halfway through my query? You know? Has that ever happened to you? Maybe I just have a fat fucking wrist.
Not really.
I guess I kind of just like lay my like wrist on my computer keyboard. So like sometimes I'll hit like a key. Like usually I'll lay it on my desk, but like my hand rests on my keyboard in such a way that if I hit a key the wrong way, I'll hit control with it or the Windows key with it. And so there are so many fucking times that like I go to start typing something and I'm 6 Windows menus deep somehow, like in like 3 button presses. And I just don't know how I got there. And it's like, man, I get this shit out of here. I'm just trying to Google how many yams a man can eat before he dies. You know?
Can you get killed from eating yams? Is this something you've looked up?
No, I mean, I guess you could die from eating too much of anything. I don't know. I was just thinking of a weird Google search. But gosh,
I've never had that before.
That's just something I have a fucking problem with. You know?
I don't know why there isn't a way that isn't Control R to get to your app data. Because I found that when I press Control R, you can do that in the search bar, right? To app data roaming. Really? Can you?
You can type run commands into the. I've told you this before, and you went, no, surely not. And then I did it, and you were like, huh. And then never did it again. You just went back to using Control R. So I was like, he's too stuck in his ways. He'll never evolve. But you can just do that shit you totally in the Windows search bar.
I just did it. Wow. Amazing.
I thought you just were really stuck in your ways with this Control R shit. You know? I thought you were really in there.
I still probably am, because when I press like Windows R, it brings up the run window and it already has local app data in it. So like I pretty much just have an app data button. And I don't know if I'll ever get away from that. So maybe I am stuck in my ways. Maybe you're right.
Maybe.
But
you're stuck in your ways in a lot of ways. You're a very like frustrating human being. But oh man.
All right.
Moving right along from just like throwing a little shade at Jed for almost no reason. We said last week, or not last week, but week before last, I feel the need to mention, because we are about halfway done with the episode now. Last time we did a solo episode, we talked a little bit about Severance season 1, just off the cuff, spoiler free. And we proposed that, hey, if you haven't seen Severance and you have any interest in seeing Severance, listen to us talk about it spoiler free, see if it's maybe your thing, come check it out. And then next solo episode, we'll talk about it again with spoilers, and hopefully you'll see the season 2 weeks from now, you know? And so hopefully 2 weeks from now is now, and you've seen the season of Severance, because now we can talk about it with spoilers. I'm gonna give us like a good 10 minutes to like just review season 1. So meet us back here. If you don't want to see this, come back at an hour 20. Just skip about 10 minutes ahead.
Yeah.
It's about 13 minutes,
skip wherever
actually.
this lands.
An hour
10
20.
minutes ahead.
An hour and 20. I'm looking at the marker. I'll know when we're just about done there. It might be a little off for the viewer, actually.
Yeah,
so 10 minutes.
The intro.
Yeah, 10 minutes.
But anyway,
you want to open our talk about Severance now that they're gone? I really liked season 1.
Yeah,
because I have a lot of opinions.
Season 1 is good.
And I wanted to allow you first.
Yeah. I think that I have less to say about season 1 than I do about season 2 now that I've seen it. But season 1 was a really interesting experience for me, because you brought me into the show, of course. And a lot of it we kind of chugged through before then we just got like an appetite for it, and then we just sped through the end, watching like 3 episodes a day, like really watching the shit out of Severance.
And it's really digestible too in that way, because it's such a like but what happens next kind of show. It's very bingeable, and it's not that long. It's not like a Walking Dead situation where your appetite for it will wane before you're done with it, you know? You'll be caught up before you're done with this show, unless your appetite for shows is just very, very small. You know, and which you would know because you watched it, and that's why you're in this spoiler section, right?
Hopefully, or you don't care about the show at all. I guess that's fair. You could hear us talk about it.
I think I share a lot of your opinions. Again, I brought you into the show, but like I was watching this alone for a while, and let me tell you, this is an awful show to have nobody to talk about it. This is an awful show to have nobody to talk about it with. Because like I'm just sitting there on my hands thinking about things like thinking about things like the Irving Burt relationship and how that was evolving while I was watching it, thinking about the big twists at the end about like how Helly is Helena and how like, you know, Mrs. Cobell or what's her name, you know, of course we knew as the audience about that one, but like the characters finding out and what does that mean, you know, and how everybody pretty much is living a double life all the time, and some characters we still don't know things about. I'm certain of it. Like there's still characters hiding things, but like going through all these twists and turns and this like roller coaster of shit, I felt very isolated for a minute there, because like you didn't seem all that interested, and my husband only seemed like vaguely interested, and so I was just like, nobody's gonna be as impassioned about this as I am. What the fuck? I'm upset. And so I'm glad that when we all watched it together, I'm glad we doubled back for it. And I'm glad that you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. It seemed like you guys were having as much fun the second time around as I was the first time. I'll tell you, it's a lot slower of a watch the second time. It's a lot easier to pick up because again, it's an ever like ramping show. Each episode is a little faster than the last. And so by the time you get to the end of the season, you don't realize just how slow you started. And so going back and doing that sort of ramp up again gave me a lot of breathing room to notice little things like how long Helena took to get in the elevator or this or that, you know, about season 1. Like there's just a bunch of little stuff, or like how the fucking watch switching that didn't make any sense to me the first time I saw it, and then I realized, oh, numbers, you know. And so like even just rewatching like the first scene of the show with a fundamental understanding of how the show works, or the first like scene of like the full workday, like with knowledge of how the show fully works, it unveils a lot about the show, I think. It's a show that like it benefits insanely from a second watch. But either way, I think Severance is really good. I really liked Severance. Do you have any particular twists that you thought were a favorite for season 1? Do you have any plot points that you particularly were surprised by or enjoyed?
Irving's outie being like a CIA agent, I thought was a very interesting take for that character, because Irving is such like a, how would you call him? He's just such like a normal dude, that you wouldn't expect him to be the one who's like the CIA agent outside of it.
I don't know.
And I thought the fact that
hints.
he was like, because he had like the dirt under his fingernails in the first episode.
Well, he got dirt under his fingernails, but like his innie is also like subconsciously very like oriented and very straight and narrow, and like, I mean, he has a slouch.
Well, he's not very straight.
But he's not very straight, but he's very orderly, you know, in that like sort of way that like retired military personnel I find tend to be. Just that sort of residual sort of training you can't shake, you know, that's like a part of you now. And like I see a lot of that being carried through in just like his like strictness on like, this is what the handbook says, and my desk is very clean and I like it that way, you know. And I don't want to get in trouble, you know, like that whole thing that he's in. But also in that fire he gets about like Bert leaving and about how they need to do something, like they need to do something to stop like this shit from happening in the future. And I think all of that is very well handled in his character. I think Irving is probably my favorite character in the whole show.
He's definitely a top 10er.
Wow.
10er,
yeah, no, I don't think top 5. I don't know how you would make a top 10 and exclude anybody in this cast. It's such like an ensemble cast that like there are like 4 main characters, and then like, which makes it sound like there will be a lot of additional cast members, but really each of them only really gets like 1 or 2 stragglers off them, if any. And then on top of that, like around the office, we only get like 3-4 characters. And so, you know, and then obviously some of them are dealt with. I don't know if that happens in season 1, so I'm going to be very vague about that. But, yeah, no, I think that, gosh, I'm I'm trying to think of something that would answer that question on my end now. Like, which one of those twists would answer that question for me? Because I think,
Yeah.
like, it's hard to imagine being surprised by this shit. The overtime protocol getting introduced.
Oh, right. Yeah.
I remember sitting at my chair when that happened. I don't know if I was in the call. I know I finished an episode in the call one time, but I don't think it was that. Like by myself before we all started watching together. But I out loud to myself at my desk went, "They can do that? What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And that wasn't the only time that escaped my lips during that season. I was just constantly amazed and impressed at like everything happening because it all works very well. Like it all makes sense, but the show is good at keeping you in just enough mystery that like whatever happens next will be a shock, you know?
Yeah. I thought that the overtime protocol was definitely like the biggest, like, well, what the fuck of the season in season 1. Because that is they introduce it, and like now you understand why the writers had him like take some random object. Because like why the fuck would he take that normally? Oh shit, it's to line this up. And why the fuck do they care enough to run the overtime protocol about that specific object? You know, and like that's an answer that I don't think we've actually even understood. Like past that, you know. Like it's something that they set up, and it still is a huge mystery.
Because who knows
overall,
really why the overtime protocol? Why did they want that card back so bad? Why couldn't they just look for it? Like this, that, and the other. Like there are a million reasons. You know, there are a million questions I have anyway about that in particular. And it's like that's the fun thing is that like season 2 isn't done yet, and so season 1 has a lot of mysteries left over. I'll tell you though, I'm not excited because season 2 is like 7 episodes in, and there's only like 9 episodes of season 1, so I don't know how many we're getting of 2. I'm sure it's out there, but even if it's like
I think
12,
we're getting like 12.
Like even if it's a full 12, I feel like I feel like it won't be enough. We're gonna have to wait. They're writing season 3, not filming it, so we're going to have to wait, you know, because Apple just realized that people like this again, you know, and want it.
Yeah.
But, you know, it's cool to see Apple TV have an original, I think. It's cool to see them finally have something worth watching on there, because I can't think of a single other thing that's on Apple TV as an exclusive. Can you?
Not anything that comes from...
I take it back,
heard
Ted
things
Lasso.
that were good.
They have Ted Lasso, and people like that show.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people I know who have Apple TV have it for that. So, yeah, actually, yeah.
Specifically but like that's for Ted Lasso.
But now they have 2. Now they have 2 of them.
Yeah.
Now they have
2 at least.
A comedy series and a thriller franchise. And I think that's Severance is going to just continue to be a very good, solid jewel in the necklace of jewels that Apple TV will hopefully have. I'm glad Apple's finally putting some money toward production on things, because actual production companies seem to not want to right now. So that's always fun.
Apple, I actually really like Apple as a company.
They've always kind of been weirdly influential in the media space. Like, for instance, Steve Jobs is the reason we have Pixar.
Really?
Yeah, I read a book on the founding of Pixar a few years ago about how, like, in those early years of making Toy Story, before they were bought by Disney back when they were an independent, they were not an independent, they were an Apple subsidiary, because, like, Steve Jobs took a personal interest in 3D animation, and just, like, you know how medieval kings would just hire an artist to live in their, like, palace or whatever, and it's like, yeah, you could we'll just keep giving you money. You just keep making provocative shit, and that's it. Like, just keep making art I like, and then you can keep living here. You know? And that's really cool. That's basically what was going on there.
Huh.
It's just that really Steve Jobs was like, I don't really care if you guys even come out with a movie. Honestly, I just want to move the tech forward.
I just want to see
you do that?
Yeah.
You know? And they did do that. They did do it.
That's awesome.
And, then Toy Story came to be, and while they were pitching around Toy Story, they sold it to Disney. And they sold the whole company to Disney. Because after Steve Jobs passed, or like before Steve Jobs passed, well before, he just wasn't really that interested in it anymore. And so they were like, yeah, you can have it. Like, it was just like a pet project that after he had gotten sufficiently enough out of it, like the tech wise, he was just like, okay, you guys can go to like an entertainment company now, fucking kick rocks. And so they did, and they went to Disney, and they made more movies, and that was great. But Apple has weirdly always been influential in that way, and it's cool to see them coming back around on entertainment and giving us something, or assisting or funding to give us something as unique and interesting as Severance. But yeah, no. Those are just my thoughts on Severance, I guess, and that's our spoiler-free time up.
Yeah.
Which is good, because I didn't really actually have that much spoilery to say about the show. So
yeah. So do we save our spoiler-free season 2 talk for next time, or do we just have a spoiler talk about season 2? Because I don't know how we would talk about season 2 spoiler-free.
We'll talk about season 2, spoilers included, in a couple weeks. We'll talk about it when the season is over. It should be almost over now.
Yeah.
It only needs like 3-4 more episodes. So like in a month, we'll swing back on Severance. But that's our Severance chat. I think I really liked Severance. Anyway, I like talking about Severance. I just don't have a lot to say about season 1 in particular right now, because my brain is so hyper focused on like the questions of season 2 that I can't really put myself in that headspace right now for season 1.
Yeah.
And so like I pity the fool. I couldn't get through it. Sorry. I didn't have a whole lot to say.
Yeah.
But anyway, you got any other entertainment based topics you want to talk about before we get out of like shit we've seen recently land?
Yeah.
So
last night, we were going to record the podcast, and something came up, as I had said, and we had decided to watch a movie after I had finished up doing what I needed to do, and we decided
which
to
is
watch
a
the movie
miracle
Saturday night.
By the way, can we hold off for a minute? Do you know how hard it is to get Jed and Basil to want to watch a fucking movie with me? Every now and again, one of them goes, I haven't seen a movie that's on your top 10 of all time. And I'll go, oh shit, we have to watch that. And then they'll go, yeah, absolutely, I'm for sure down. And then I'll ask every night for like 4 nights in a row, and it'll be a no. And like by the 4th no, I just stop asking and just leave it on the list indefinitely. And then a night will come for a movie, and I'll go, and you'll go, I'm really feeling like a movie tonight. And I'll go, oh shit, should we pull from the list? And you'll go, nah, we need something new. And I'll go, why the fuck do we have the list? Like, I'm actually like tweaking about like, dude, come on. We have a backlog of like 8 movies that I know you'll love if you'll just sit down and watch them, you know?
Yeah.
Some of them I haven't even seen. Some of them we've just decided collectively together, like Heretic, that we want to watch, or Hereditary, not Heretic. Heretic just got put on Netflix, that's why I'm thinking about that.
Haven't seen that one either.
Yeah, no, I hear Heretic's pretty good too. We can put that one on the list too. Why not? Fuck it. But Hereditary is one that we both like realized we both hadn't seen, and decided that we just want to watch at some point. But will we ever get around to it? Who knows? Anyway,
yeah, who knows?
I just wanted to point out that it is a trial and a tribulation to get these people to sit down for a fucking movie, which is, I'm more watcher brained than like gamer brained, and so like I don't know, I like my movies and my shows and shit, and
that you do.
Either way, you want to talk about it? Let's talk about Saturday night.
But Saturday night, I don't know if you have more to say about it as like a film.
Oh, I do,
because I have more to say about it interpersonally.
Then I'll start.
So if you want to talk about it as a film, yeah.
So for those unaware, it doesn't really take that much doing to explain this. The 60th anniversary of Saturday Night Live came up, and historically, a lot of stories have been told about working on SNL from like all the myriad people who have ever worked there. A bunch of those stories are from the very first episode of SNL and the absolute havoc that was wreaked on an NBC building that night. And I've never really been that big of a fan of SNL, period. However, I like a lot of the SNL players. I like Billy Crystal. I like Chris Farley. I like Chris Rock. I like Eddie Murphy. I don't know about Chris Rock, actually. Was Chris Rock ever a cast member?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I like Eddie Murphy. I like Dan Aykroyd a lot. I like, my point's made. I like a lot of the people that became famous from that, and I like a lot of the byproducts. I like even some of the SNL movies, like the Blues Brothers. I love that movie, But, like, generally, SNL itself, I just don't have much appeal for it. Every now and again, a sketch will make me laugh, but generally, they just don't sell me on it. But, like, the origin story of SNL is something that's always interested me, and, like, the working environments of SNL has always interested me. Because it's such a unique environment, and because they hire so many, like, very, very new up-and-comers because of their, like, ability. And based on ability, not resume. And it's so interesting to think about that set of minds, being able to, like, pull that off every week. And I think that's, I think it's a really interesting workflow, and I think it's something that, I think it's something that does work very well and could make for a really good movie, just the production of it, and have for a while. And so when Saturday Night came out, it became, like, it shot to the top of my list of movies to see. And then a bunch of other movies that came out after it shot to the top of that list, and I never really got around to it last year, or earlier this year. But we watched it. It's, again, Saturday Night is a biopic film about following Lorne Michaels on the night of the first SNL, as he tries to, like, run the show and get it straight and keep everything in order while lights are falling and fires are happening and cast members are running amok. It's a whole thing. I thought the movie was very good. I thought the movie embodied that sort of, for lack of a better word, bootstrap spirit that they had about it when it came to just, like, this is our show, this is our chance, we want to do this. It really captured the sort of underground nature of these guys would be on the street if they weren't on national TV tonight, Yeah. And so it just, I don't know, there's something about the starving artist, myself being one, if I may call myself an artist. But, like, there's something about the appeal of the, like, we put on a really good show, both because we're passionate and because we have to eat this week, I find that sort of like struggle to success very compelling, as most people do. And Saturday Night does a very good job of displaying that and showcasing it and making you really feel like you're there, down to the point where it follows minute to minute the last 90 minutes before the show is on. And I think that real-time aspect really helped the movie. I think all of the scenes are shot very well. I think a lot of the actors are phenomenal, both as, like, look-alike actors and as actual performers. I feel like there are some Oscar-worthy performances in this fucking movie, for if I can even use that word after, like, completely, like, shitballing the Oscars for, like, an hour earlier. But, like, there were some really great performances in that movie, even from, like, they got me to give a shit about Chevy Chase, and I hate Chevy Chase. I think he's a dickhead, and it was, like, just a star-studded cast, really beautifully shot. All the lighting was great, which isn't a given on movies in current year. Like, I don't know what the hell is happening, but we just don't light movies like we used to. I don't know where that happened, but that happened somewhere in the 20s or in the 2010s. But it did happen. Yeah. But either way, I really liked Saturday Night. I think it was a really good movie. I think it really displayed well. I think there are some fictions, but there are a lot more facts than there are fictions in it. And you'd be surprised which ones are which. That's the movie. That's what it is, and those are my thoughts on it. So I guess I'll give it to Jed and get to his more cerebral, interpersonal opinions about the show or about the movie and what it means to him, I guess. Go for it.
It doesn't mean much to me specifically. It really gave me an idea of where Vox is at as a person, because apparently like this is the type of thing that Vox has been doing for most of his time making content, is that sort of like running around on a set doing that sort of thing, to the point where he's like, that's what he's expecting for content. And what I do for content is fuck around.
Yeah, these are the sorts of vibes
really,
I bring. I bring a production vibe to it, because we're like, any sane person, I feel like streaming is a very lax area, right? Sorry to completely interrupt you to like do this whole side tangent, but I feel like this is the only time I'm gonna fit it in. I feel like streaming is very lax, obviously, because most people are just sitting and playing a video game on Twitch and having a casual conversation while they do it. Me personally, I don't know. I'm so performer brained that if I'm streaming at 9, that doesn't mean I'm gonna hit the button and start playing a video game at 9 o'clock. That means I'm on at 9. That means I have to perform from 9 till whenever we're done. You know? Yeah. And that I'm on the hook.
Yeah.
For a good show. And if I don't deliver one, then that's completely my fault. You know? And so like these are the expectations I come into it with. And so like Jed just got a really good view of just like every time I'm like kicking myself over, just like, God damn it, I fucked it up again. This wasn't my best work. I could have totally done better any other night. Today just was a really bad day for it. I can't fucking believe this shit. I might as well quit now if that's the kind of performances I'm putting out. And then Jed will meet me on it and just go, slow down, dude. It's not that big of a deal. And realistically, it's not. It really isn't. It's just a mentality difference. It's just a mentality difference of I hold myself to the standards of professionals without any of the resources or ability, really. You know, I don't work at a professional level, and neither do any of the people who assist me, you know?
Yeah.
And that's okay.
And like, it helped me realize why Vox is the way he is for a lot of things. And it also helped me realize that like, I'm just not cut out for that. I don't know. It made me have a moment where I was like, do I even want to do content anymore? Sort of thing on it, because it's just like, that's just never where I'm going to be at. Mentally. I don't care if I go anywhere. I don't care if like, honestly, I don't care about documenting any of my stuff anymore. At first I cared about keeping my VODs, and then I lost enough that I was like, whatever, this is just what I'm doing right now. And if I lose them, whatever. Who cares? And it really showed Vox and I's mentality difference on a lot of things Saturday night. And it was nice to be able to see why Vox is the way he is, even if I disagree with it. And it was a good movie. It was just a good movie, as is.
Yeah, it's a good watch, I think. I think if you've got a night, if you're trying to set up a thought-provoking little date night, for a long-term partner, this isn't like a Netflix and chill kind of movie. You know, if you've got a long-term partner or like a friend, or like you've just got an evening with some people and they haven't seen it, it's totally a movie that you can like, it's a movie you've got to be engaged with, but like it's a movie that you can enjoy. You know, it's definitely like a very captivating film, I think. Just because, again, it's so fast-paced, and we're running around, and we're in dressing rooms, and we're on stage, and we're laying brick, and we're backstage taking a phone call from Johnny Carson, and then we're back around downstairs to go talk to the page boy, and then back up again, back to dressing rooms, you know, and there's so much running around, and everybody's everywhere, and everyone's doing everything, and it all sings to me. In a weird way, if that makes any sense. There's sort of like a discordant harmony to it that I can't help but envy in just like, oh, to be in that room on that night, you know? There are just some things that if you're present for them, they are a moment. And I feel like that was one of those. I feel like that definitely would have been on my short list of like, if you could time travel and see any historical event, it's definitely going on that list, I think. Just to see the actual evening unfold, I think, would be a thing to see, you know?
Yeah.
Because even without all the chaos and even without all the hecticness, there's still, sorry, before we transition out of this, there's still, like, the aspect of again, these young comedians, and musicians and writers and videographers and set designers and everybody, you know, like just making it work and just hashing it out and doing the best they can with what they have. And I feel like, you know, I feel like there's sort of like an avant-gardeness about that really, it's not that it started that flame started a while back with me. Like I rekindled my love of filmmaking like a month or two ago and have been itching to get something out with like a real camera soon and be filming something. But totally though, that totally put some fucking firewood on it. Absolutely. That gave us some of that good cedar wood. And so now we're burning strong, and I'm really like, if I was excited to get back to making movies before, like making amateur little films before, I'm hella excited now. It's just an exciting thing. But it is a good movie. It does a very good job at being a watchable, fun movie, but it also gave me a little bit of personal kick that I enjoyed. It gave me a kick in the pants that I very much needed. I'll say. Anyway, you were transitioning out of this, I presume? That's where we're headed?
Oh, no. I was going to talk about just a silly thing that happened. When Vox had watched it, of course, I hadn't watched it with him. I hadn't watched it with him until, like, later, after he had watched it, and he was like, this shit's great, you should watch it with me. And I saw a clip of J.K. Simmons, right?
Yeah. J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. I saw a clip of him talking about his character, and I didn't know this was about Saturday Night, but it was him on the red carpet where it's like, how did you get into character to be this character? And he went, I watched a lot of porn. And like, I was like, what role could he possibly be talking about? Check the TikTok comments. It's fucking Saturday Night. He was talking about fucking Saturday Night. And I was like, wow, what a funny time to see this clip on my TikTok.
Well, it's because Lorne Michaels' book is coming back out. That's why this is popular. Lorne Michaels is putting out a book about the making of SNL from his perspective. And so, like, which has been in the works for a while, and I think was supposed to come with the 60th, but didn't. Which is a funny thing. But that's okay, though. That's all right. It's coming out now, and so the movie and a lot of SNL stuff, SNL's like 60th anniversary stuff, is coming back around a second time, like 6 months later. So that's a lot of fun for people like me who just couldn't get into the cycle of it at that very second when it released. You know,
is it their 60th or their 50th?
It's their 60th, 1975 to 2025.
That's 50. Because 60,
50?
we just had Doctor Who's 60. Yeah. And
you're right. That's 50. Right. No, I keep thinking of it as a 60 because they did a big celebration 10 years ago for the 40th. And then they kind of like, I mean, they put out a fucking movie and a damn good one too, but like,
yeah. But still,
it felt like the actual show didn't do a whole lot on their 50th anniversary episode. And so like it felt to me like it just wasn't enough, and it felt like they did way more for 40. And so like I always get them confused and get confused on like, oh no, 40 was 50 and then 50 was 60. No, that's why 50 is so much worse than 40. Like that's why this decade's special is worse than last decade's special, because we're on 60 right now, which is one after 50, the biggin, you know? Yeah. But that's not the case, you know. We're on 50 now. It's just sort of a lackluster 50 generally. But either way, though, pretty good movie
indeed.
Pretty good movie. But
I don't know if you have any like more video content, but I do have a topic about a video game.
I have more video content
somewhat recently.
You want to talk about a film first? You want to talk about another film that may or may
let's
not
talk
be
about a film first, since we're
Shrek
hanging out in film land right now.
Shrek 5, dude.
Shrek 5, right? I forgot about.
We got a reveal trailer. I wanted to talk about how negative the internet is with this, and so we're probably gonna get down a weed here. But we'll start with Shrek 5. So we got an announcement for Shrek 5. Gosh, after Shrek 4, Like, Shrek 4 was the last movie in line for like a year, and then they announced Shrek 5, and then didn't show us anything until like yesterday. Like, that was like that was over a decade ago, and we're just now hearing more and more about it. Like, Shrek 5 has been a meme for a while, on the basis of it's not coming. Why the fuck would they make why the fuck would they make a fifth one? And B, it's been like 6 years since they said they would, and we've heard nothing. There's no way, you know? And then Puss in Boots came out, and we saw Far, Far Away for a second, and then like that was sort of like an indicator that we were gonna see Shrek again sometime soon. Which is weird, because like Far, Far Away is you know, isn't that the kingdom from the second movie, not the kingdom that we live in?
I have no clue.
I don't. It's a whole problem. It's a fucking continuity issue. Damn it! I'm mad about it.
I don't
Far,
know
Far Away
anything
Island
about
is where
Shrek,
like the
dude.
Frog King lives. You son of a bitch.
The frog.
This ain't Duloc.
King. Yeah, fucking
God.
Christ.
Speaking of, I completely slipped my mind that Lord Farquaad was fucking John Lithgow. I forget how many like A-listers there were in the first movie. Like, I forget that it was like almost all A-listers. Speaking of SNL, it was supposed to be Chris Farley in there.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did that come through at all? I'm sorry.
Through, yeah.
I hate to do a showstopper here. My phone, sitting right beside my mic, which I was pretty sure until this moment was on vibrate, just decided to shoot me like 6 whistling notifications all at once. Just like a
man.
Boop, boop, followed by a whoop, whoop, whoop. My mic's not picking that up and my voice is breaking, but still, just several notification sounds. I don't know why it fucking does that.
all at once.
But we gotta look at Shrek 5. We actually saw the trailer recently, and they've updated the designs in a way that my first knee-jerk reaction was, oh, they look really good. Because they look older. Like, they've convincingly, like his eyes are a little closer together. Like, yes, there are some bone structure alterations being made here, but like, he generally, like, I could believe this is just how the fat redistribution of being an old ass ogre, you know, has just found him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, less fat in the face, more, like, less fat generally, even. But like, you know, and so like he's not quite as like jolly looking, and but like no, I like it. I like it a lot. Personally, I don't mind any of the redesigns other than Donkey. I think Donkey is going to take some getting used to. But
Donkey looks like ass.
You know,
but
you got thoughts?
I think it looks a little bit too. I hate that animated movies have all kind of gone down the same pipeline. And I think Shrek used to have a very distinct style where it was like, we aren't going to be making something cutesy or pretty. We're making fucking Shrek, dude. We're gonna spend 20 minutes.
Well, I think that's part of the point.
How do we want to animate mud? You think that's part of the point?
Well, because Shrek is always like the reason Shrek looked the way it did was because animation was very cutesy at the time, and now we've entered an era where animation is very realistic, and animation is like stylistically as a trend right now. Most animated films are either insanely stylized in like a unique way, or very weirdly like trying to be hyper real in certain ways, or like mimic reality best as possible. And so I feel like this might maybe be an intentional DreamWorks response with using the Shrek franchise as just like, here's fine, since we live in an era where like a Shrek who's like gross out humor and who's like primarily like made to like ape the tropes of animation 20 years ago, maybe this isn't the landscape for him anymore. Maybe we need to update the designs a little bit and make him more traditionally animation, which I guess, yeah, is against everything that like the original movie was trying to say, but it still like gets to keep its counterculture edge. It still gets to tell a compelling story, and I feel like it'll honestly ground it a little bit in a weird way, if that makes any sense, to see these characters in a more cartoonish light, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could see that. I don't think it's a terrible animation change. I definitely don't think it's my favorite.
No, and you're allowed that opinion, of course. Like I'm not saying that you're like wrong for that at all. I'm just saying that like I feel like it could be a choice. I don't know. Like, maybe I'm reading too deep into it. Maybe it's not that deep.
Possible.
But it's a possibility, I guess. I kind of weirdly have high hopes for Shrek 5. I think it looks all right. I think the animation looks good. I think the actual movie, we don't know really enough about it. I think opening the trailer with a TikTok joke, I feel like that was always going to happen, but that's... Anybody saying that doing a joke about TikTok existing in Shrek isn't like befitting the franchise needs to go back to Shrek 2. They need to watch the second movie, or even just the first one. The second one is more guilty of it in a lot of places, but like, really, we're doing like the Shrek 2 spent like 30 minutes of the movie on fucking an American Idol parody. Like, no wonder they're doing a TikTok joke. Cultural jokes are like the whole point of these movies.
That's the bread and butter of it. Yeah,
like that is what lines the pockets of these executives. Yeah,
yeah.
Man,
I think that's a really weird complaint for people to have. But overall, I think that the movie looks fine. Or like the trailer at least. I don't know if they're gonna change it for the movie. But people are saying they want to do like, we did it with Sonic, we can do it again, and it's like, well, you know,
we're getting a little too comfortable with harassing animators. I think. But
because
my
like,
thought is,
to be fair, this is a lot of like their work. What's your thought?
Yeah. My thought is, I was trying to get here before we got to the backlash about the designs. But my thought is, I can't fucking stand Twitter anymore, dude. Maybe TikTok too. TikTok less so. At least TikTok has a lot of positivity, but it's just, Twitter is just crawling with these motherfuckers who are miserable and can't enjoy anything for 5 fucking seconds. And so, of course, I watched the Shrek trailer, and I don't even get to see one, cool, new Shrek trailer. I get to see a million posts about how ass it is before I've even really had time to, like, solidify my own opinion on it. And, like, I started, like, I still disagree, and I don't disagree, but I still agree with what I was saying and disagree with what they were saying, but I started to, like, get mad about it, and I was just like, man, first of all, tweets don't usually make me mad. It was just making me mad that, like, this is, like, the 5th thing I've seen people complain about today on my Twitter timeline that is just completely inconsequential and a matter of taste, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I quote retweeted like, somebody for it, even. I'm starting to fucking fight back on this shit. I'm so sick of it that, like, I've like, picked up the gauntlet of potentially taking on Twitter arguments again on the basis of, like, you motherfuckers can't do anything. God! Would you shut the fuck up and find something that you enjoy? Like, find something you like doing and shut the fuck up and do it. And leave everybody else alone. Alright?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just, I don't know. I'm just, like, deeply sick of the whole thing, personally.
Yeah, of Twitter and just everything. And that's fair.
Of just Twitter, how negative of a space Twitter's become. Yeah. Like, I challenge the viewers at home to open their Twitter feeds. Maybe your Twitter feed's not like mine. Maybe you have an easier time with that. But open your Twitter feed and just scroll until you see something, like, that makes you smile. See how long until it takes you to fucking smile. I'll tell you, it'll take me all night. I'll probably be scrolling for a good evening before I find something that makes me genuinely smile because it was a positive sentiment, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. The only reason that I get that for mine is because I tried to make it specifically animal Twitter. And I think I just fucked it even more because I think the people who are on animal Twitter are also, like, older right-wing people, because I'm also getting, like, actual fucking Nazis showing up on my feed. And it's unfortunate. It's just unfortunate.
I've been going through, like, a transmutive period with my TikTok algorithm too. You know, one of those where, like, every video you like, TikTok is instantly like, okay, let me serve you 10 more of those back to back nonstop with 0 breaks. And it's like, dude, that's not all I want to say. Like, I'm interested in following the John Cena turning heel plotline for wrestling. I'm interested in doing that. It does not need to be 40 videos in a row of the same 3 seconds of footage. It doesn't need to be that. TikTok, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Some of these edits are really cool, but on my 20th LeBron edit of the day, I can't really do it anymore, man. I can't really get excited for it. And I find myself scrolling away from content that I genuinely enjoy just because I've been overfed it by the algorithm lately. And it's just because, like, you know how it is. Like, I'm just going through one of those, like, TikTok periods where my For You page is shifting a little bit. And TikTok's trying to, like, spice it up a little more. And it's just finding its footing and doing a bad job of it so far. So I've been doing a lot of Twittering lately, and so, you know, I've been doing a lot of Twittering, been doing a lot of scrolling over on X, the everything app. And it's not doing good things for me, man. The longer you're on Twitter, I swear, it's like fucking Green Goblin gas or like Joker serum. The longer you spend on Twitter, the more fucking like potent that shit will become in you, dude. Like, I'm no more than like one set of 24 hours strapped to a chair, eyes forced open, reading a Twitter timeline from blowing up a bank, dude. I'm telling you, I'll be poisoning the water supply in no time. I'm gonna be on my Joker shit tomorrow if I have to do that. Like, that is...
You're gonna be fucking giving people Joker gas and shit, dude.
I'm gonna be strapping other people down, making them scroll through tweets. It's gonna be awful.
Yeah, dude. You're gonna be making other people be, like, angry at Twitter. But...
Who's the Batman to fucking Twitter Joker?
The Batman to Twitter Joker would be, like, fucking Instagram man or something.
Grass
who, like,
guy.
Had to
he
watch
touches grass.
He had to watch his like third gore video in a row, and then just like decided that he needed.
Oh my
to be
god,
the Batman
that's his
of the
origin
world.
story. He like
he went on
like
Reels
a man
much.
get like he saw an accident at the Idiot Factory on his feed uncensored and couldn't fucking handle it. He had to like turn to vigilantism.
Yeah. Oh man. Which is a silly concept.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
But Shrek.
Like, we're talking about Shrek and just like, I don't know, the negativity of the whole thing.
Overall negativity.
That's just it. That's just the point I wanted to make. But one more movie-based topic, if we can, since we've been on a pretty movie roll this episode. We started with the Oscars, and we've been talking about like movies, and like we had a little video game break in between, but
we're having a movie episode though.
I guess we're having a movie episode.
What do you got in mind?
Because the internet's going crazy about fucking Minecraft movie merch, and I think it's so funny. Have you seen some of these figures that they're selling?
I've not. No.
So
are they bad?
They're real bad. They're selling the Jack Black figure. I need you to look these up on your own.
Here, I'll look these up.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull them up for the show. So that people can see them. But like, oh, here we go. Oh, this is perfect. This is like a YouTube thumbnail. I'm so sorry to this guy, but like, oh man. Open image in new tab, please. I'm gonna scroll this over.
Oh, wow, this Jack Black figure. Wow.
Yeah, actually, there's a lot of green on that. That's going to get chroma keyed really bad. But it's the Jack Black figure that everybody's talking about. Because he's literally just Jack Black. I saw somebody say, Mommy, can I get the middle-aged man figure? And I lost my shit.
Yeah, here, I've got an image of Jack Black
less charitable
take
ones
up on the screen.
I've seen some less charitable ones too, about just like, who the fuck is gonna get their kid the 40-year-old fat fuck action figure? And I was like, I don't think we need to go that far. I'm not sure we need to get that.
That's a bit far.
Hey,
but
come on.
But like, genuinely though, this is just a figure of Jack Black.
You know what I don't like?
Stylized.
The worst part about Jack Black in the Minecraft movie to me is the fucking shirt. Dude, I swear, why are they in the first trailer? He was just in a t-shirt and you could like see his nips through it, and people made fun of him, I guess. And so they put like a V-neck sweater over it. And it's like it's in some of the shots, and some of the shots it's not. I thought it was the other way around. I thought it was the V-neck sweater and it just cut too low and showed too much skin, and they put something under it. No, it's the other way.
It was the reverse.
And that's so fucking silly to me. That's so fucking silly to me.
this guy's wearing like a teal t-shirt and a teal sweater over it.
He's wearing
Teach
a
this
teal
man
t-shirt?
fashion.
He's wearing a teal t-shirt with a teal sweater over it, matched exactly. Yes. And so, like,
With
every
blue
piece of
jeans.
merch and every shot in this movie has, like, the outline of a V-neck, but no actual skin anywhere. So it's
so fucking
grotesque.
funny.
It makes it look like his torso is just blue like that. And I think it's really
even
funny.
like Steve. Even Steve is wearing like a proper V-neck.
Like he's got like a
it's
cut.
just weird.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a V-neck, but like it's certainly a cut. I've always imagined
It
it
at
as like a
least
polo
shows that there's,
situation,
like-
you know?
Yeah.
Because
I
of
don't
the
know.
way
That's
it's
that's another
shaped.
funny thing. Is like with Minecraft specifically, everybody has their own idea of what each character looks like in their head. I think that's really
Yeah.
fun. Because like I would have never assumed it was a V-neck, but or polo, but
Well,
I
I
don't
always wore polos when
I
I was
think-
a kid, so I think that had something to do with it. Honestly, I think that's a lot of the bias
Yeah.
there. But yeah, no, I didn't realize he was still up there. You didn't tell me.
yeah,
He was
he was
hanging
just
out
hanging
for a
out with
minute.
us.
Oh, jeez. But yeah,
Um,
no. The creeper plush actually looks pretty good. I would highly recommend looking that up. I don't want to pull
The
it up on
creeper
screen
plush
again. It's got a lot of
does
green
nice.
on it. It will not chroma key well. I'm
that
sorry.
will chroma key.
But that one
Um,
does look pretty. It looks pretty cute. I think it's a cute little thing. I'd buy it, but like, you know, because usually I don't like Minecraft merch because like usually it's all like pixel arty and like in that like very insanely shitty way where it's like we can only print so many colors on a plush. So here's your creeper with like some teal spots, like he's like diseased, and it's like I'm not sure I want that. Like the Minecraft fridge even does that. Where it's like the printing is just
There's
fucked
a
on
Minecraft
it. So it's like,
fridge.
yeah, look it up, dude. There's a Minecraft creeper fridge. I've seen it at like Target and shit, and it's just like it would be something that I'd consider buying, like as like a funny little thing to have in my office to hold a couple sodas. But like, because it's only like $50 and it only holds like 6 sodas. But
Oh, it's one of those shitty fridges.
Yeah, it's
that
one of those little
Technology
can
Connections
fridges.
fucking hates.
yeah, it's one of those. One of those little like convection fridges or whatever. It's something like that. Either way.
Oh, he's a charged creeper. That's why he's got blue on him. But he's
It
not got
looks-
blue on the rest of
Doesn't
him.
matter. It looks ugly as shit though, because he's just got blue
It
streaks
looks
on
ugly
it.
as hell.
Yeah. No.
Why did they even
look
make
at the
him
creeper?
charged?
Fucking look at the creeper fridge when you get a chance, audience. Again, it's the green thing. But let's stop talking about green for a minute. But people are getting like spooked by like standees in the store because like the Jack Black standee is standing there with a big fucking mangy ass square looking wolf just like on a chain ready to get your ass.
Like some fucked up, like way too big wolf too. I think it's like some candy company that like just had like a cardboard cutout in Walmart. It's fucked. It is a fucked image. Just walking around and seeing like Jack Black and his fucked up dog.
Jack Black and his fucked up square-headed dog.
Yeah. Oh man, Jack Black. I wish I still was able to like Jack Black. Jack Black is one of those guys where it's like, man, I wish you were a cool dude.
Yeah, he used to be. It's real unfortunate what
Yeah.
happened. You know?
Yeah.
But
It's like Mark Hamill.
it is like Mark Hamill. It is kind of like Mark Hamill. But yeah, no, that was our Minecraft movie segment. We got a new trailer for it. I guess we could talk about that. The
haven't
Elytras in
seen
it
that.
look kind of ass.
Oh, I have
Um,
seen that. It does.
You
look
have seen
like
it.
ass.
Yeah, it's that trailer. They're doing a lot with buckets. They announced the popcorn bucket for it, and they're doing like a weird one. I think it's like a creeper head or
Mhm.
something, or like a pickaxe shape. It's real fucked. When it's like
Yeah.
for every single trailer has had a different gag about buckets in it. Why the hell is it not just like a squared off like Minecraft bucket? Like it
Iron
totally could
bucket.
be. It totally could be like an iron bucket. But no, they've chosen to go that way with it. Every decision they make for this movie baffles me to no end, to the point where I feel like I have to see it. Right?
Yeah.
Like it's
Yeah.
getting
Like
me
we'll
to that
definitely be
point.
going to see it in theaters.
It's getting me to that point where it's like I can't. I mean, I feel like even if it's the worst movie I've ever seen, I kind of like, because Minecraft is a game that's done so much for me, like personally. and has been such like a joy for me personally throughout my childhood. I feel like I owe them at least a movie ticket, even if it's for a movie I know will be bad. So there was no question of me ever seeing this, because I was going to go see it anyway. But now I feel like weirdly drawn to it in like a what the fuck were they thinking kind of way. Because the explanation they gave at Minecon Live last year, or like Minecraft Live, because they haven't called it Minecon Live since like 2018. What the fuck am I saying?
I don't know, dude.
Like at Minecraft Live last year, they like talked a little bit about like the designs for the movie, and they were like, yeah, no, the fun thing about Minecraft is that everybody has their own interpretations of what these things look like, and how these pixels become like a thing in their head, you know, like how the life is breathed into it. And so everybody has their own stylistic idea of what a Minecraft movie is. You cannot make a Minecraft movie because the fans have already made it a million times over.
Yeah.
Like, there are so many fan projects that are a Minecraft movie done in Minecraft, a Minecraft movie done 3D animated, and a Minecraft movie done in Lego. We wanted to go our own way with it and do something that we didn't think any of the fans would be capable of. And that's why we got a live-action Minecraft movie. It's just because they were like, we have a budget, they don't. Let them be able to animate it if they want to animate. We'll do live-action because we can afford to do it. And because it's an interesting take on the franchise. And I agree, it is interesting. Good isn't the word I would use, but interesting.
Good isn't the word. Interesting, yeah. It is innovative in the way that, like...
It's innovative in the same way that like a peanut butter and arsenic sandwich would be innovative, because I'm not sure anybody's ever done that before, and I'm interested in why you did it, but I'm not going to fucking eat it. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. But either way, that was our little Minecraft movie corner. We did talk about a lot of fucking movies today. So I only felt it appropriate to keep it with the movie topics at the end there. Sorry.
Yeah.
But
no, I think movie day is a good one. But I think
movie day is a good one. Yeah. I think that's about all the time we got. Yeah. So you wanna ramp us out with an outro here, Jed? You wanna tell the people where they can find the show? You know, all that kind of stuff.
So in the description, there's a card. In that card, you can go to about the hosts. And you can find both of our card and Linktree pages. You could go see our other content there. New episodes of Fight About It come out every Sunday at 3 p.m. And that's
they premiere on YouTube. That's all the things you missed.
They do premiere on YouTube.
They premiere on YouTube. They're live. There's a live chat. It brings a real sense of community to the whole thing. It's very nice. But I'll see you guys, or we'll see you guys later. I almost did my fucking stream outro. Goodbye. We'll see you next week.
Goodbye.
Get the fuck out of here. Bye.